Yo! Well, everyone was focused on the flash crash that happened yesterday. BlackRock just went on the national news and revealed the unthinkable. While most people were focused on the largest liquidation event of the year yesterday, BlackRock clients were not. This goes back to our speculations. Are the big institutions playing shenanigans with the Bitcoin price so they could buy it on the cheap? I don't know. We're going to answer all of those questions and more. But first, let's play the clip. And we have a very special guest today, Rockstar, baby.
You know, and I'm talking to some of the most sophisticated long-term Bitcoin accumulators. They're pretty excited about this dip. They see this as a buying opportunity. They certainly don't look at economic headwinds and say that's bad for Bitcoin. They say that's probably a catalyst for Bitcoin.
Well, to be fair, they are always pretty.
That's true. That's true. But some of them, we're taking chips off the table a little bit in the hundreds, and now they see this correction, and a lot of them view it as sort of an irrational sell-off based on short-term factors. I don't know whether that's true or not, but certainly there's a lot yet to be sort of understood and processed about this asset and how people think about it from a risk-return perspective and in a portfolio, and how the correlation should play out over the long run. So we're trying to play a role in that. Lots of other financial institutions that have come into this space are trying to bring some quantitative rigor to that as well.
So let's talk about that. First, the one, the only, the legendary Rockstar Dev in the house, joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live today. I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about yesterday, Opti. The NASDAQ is in the green. Gold is in the green, but Bitcoin is in the red. And it almost seems like they're plainly admitting it, man. They're just basically saying, hey, look, a lot of people are seeing this as a potential stacking opportunity, specifically institutional investors. Before I pass it on to Opti, I was going to say Ropti. Before I pass it on to Opti, I'm going to pass it on to Rockstar. Rockstar, boy, have things changed, bro. We used to celebrate. We used to be like, the plebs are buying. Actually, we used to celebrate that the institutions were coming. I remember 2018. That was like one of the coping mechanisms that we had when the price crashed from 20K to 3,500. We're like, the institutions were coming and we were so giddy. We were so happy. Now the institutions are here, and I feel like, Bitcoin's gone mainstream. It's, I forget who said this quote. I forget. It's like your favorite band goes mainstream. That's what it feels like. So Rockstar, I'm going to pass it on to you. It's two-parted question. Question number one is, are there some Bitcoin price shenanigans happening since these large institutional players have come in, potentially some paper Bitcoin? And question number two is, do you miss the good old days? Do you miss the good old days of 50% volatility in a month? We'd want to pull our hair out. It wouldn't potentially we wouldn't feel too good about it, but at least we felt alive. I feel like Bitcoin's become a stable coin this year. Rockstar Dev, what's your take, brother?
I mean, definitely a stable coin with less of a price action, but man, of course, I miss the good old days. But also, I know that these days, like, we're going to miss them in 5 years, in 10 years, because Bitcoin is only getting monetized once. And, through exciting times, through boring times, we should just keep that in mind and enjoy it. Again, like, we're only doing this once, Nico. So those days that we miss, you and me, like 2017, and getting to meet each other at the conferences, starting, hey, this is how we're gonna miss these days. Now, as you say, suits are here. We could even maybe sing it, like, suits are here, suits are here. It's gone mainstream, and it's just, man, we gotta embrace it. We wanted Bitcoin to go mainstream. It has gone mainstream. Now, with the suits being here, there will be all kinds of political games, and as Bitstein said in his essay, everyone is a scammer. but now we have professional scammers here. So no, man, there will be price action. There will be periods, you say, with less of a price action. There will be like one Bitcoin treasury company, political people, scammers. They try to tank the price so that some others sell, increase their MNAV. Then they pick up that Bitcoin, man. We're in for a treat with all kinds of games and shenanigans.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think that's a very optimistic way of looking at it, right? This half glass full type of way. We are gonna miss these days, you know. Bitcoin's only gonna get monetized once. I really like that perspective. I think it's very, very true. And I think we're living through it right now. I mean, this year was super historical, even from a price action perspective. You know, me and Opti are, you know, fiending the dopamine, but you know, from a historical perspective, you had the first pro Bitcoin president in the White House elected, right? You have the talk of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. You have Bitcoin taking over Wall Street. You know, you have MicroStrategy. You have a bunch of other Bitcoin treasury companies. Yeah, Bitcoin is growing up. It's getting financialized. You know, and obviously that comes with unintended consequences that perhaps a lot of us did not foresee while we were hoping that these things are going to happen. You know, but it is what it is. Like, you know, in 2 years, me and Opti will be wearing suits every single day on the live stream. And we will have perfect haircuts, and you know, we will be speaking properly. And Opti,
now we know that's a lie because we can't speak properly.
And Opti will have a British accent somehow. It would just start to pop out. So Opti, I want to get your take on this, man. I mean, quite interesting. You know, basically on the video that we just played, saying the quiet part out loud, bro. Basically admitting they just said the quiet part out loud, like the price dipped, and some investors saw that as an opportunity. Opti, what's your take?
Well, I mean, you could say the price dipped. You could probably also say that maybe they wanted the price to dip so that they could pack their bags, which is something we've been saying on the show for a while. As we saw yesterday with that huge liquidation, and everyone's wondering what is going on with the price and, you know, who's actually in control here. It all points to the same thing, is that it does feel like people are trying to pack their bags. They're really trying to position themselves before this thing does start to run. Whether it's going to go back to like 2017 days or not, it's probably a totally different conversation, but we do know it's going to go up. And if you are these institutions and you are, you know, financial hedge funds, et cetera, and you see the Trump administration say that they want to make Bitcoin, you know, or make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world, you got to understand that these institutions move like very slowly. And so, of course, they want the price to go low. And so that they can position themselves. They got to slowly get their positions. They got to slowly kind of turn the ship so that they can get a position. And from that clip, he definitely said the quiet part out loud. He's basically saying, like, buy all the dips. This is the opportunity to be buying right now. So while retail and Main Street are terrified right now of the price going down, the institutions are sitting on the back end and they're thinking, hey, this is a good price to go. We've been kind of waiting for one more pullback. Now, the real question, I think, for all of us here, since we are so dopamine deprived, is like, is this the final dip before we start to rip? That's what we all want to know here. Obviously, it does feel like the price is getting frothy, and it does feel like there is a little bit of, I don't know if you want to call it suppression or price manipulation or what have you, but it does seem like there is someone trying to keep the price down before things start to get frothy again. And, you know, part of me is like, hey, I'm all for this. Cheaper sats for everyone. If you understand what is going on, cheap sats are great. On the other side, as the Simply Bitcoin news show, you're like, man, I really want to see some Bitcoin price action come back to life, because this has been a stable coin for what, almost 10 months now. I thought we were going to the moon super fast. I thought we were going to 150 like yesterday. And here we are at what are we? $4,000 up from where we were 10 months ago. It's like, man, this is not that fun anymore. Like, where's all the fun at? But I do want to ask ROCKSTAR a question here, because, you know, Rockstar's an OG. Some might argue an insider here. He knows a lot of the stuff on the back end.
Rockstar is definitely an insider.
He's the Bitcoin rock star. And there has been a lot of debate right now with the ETF launch, with the institutions coming in Bitcoin, and the war between like the plebs and the suit coiners. And so from your perspective, Rockstar, do you think that now that the institutions are here, is Bitcoin being co-opted? I have heard a lot of people say this, whether it's like whale selling coin or the war over core or not, etc. There has been this kind of constant conversation of, oh, the suits are here, they're co-opting Bitcoin, and we got to not lose our ethos here. So what would be your perspective on that whole argument?
Yeah, well, I am a suit coiner as well. Like, when you see me at the conference, I'm wearing a suit, right? So the ultimate insider as a Bitcoin uncle. So,
but hold on, but
Yeah.
Rockstar, you've evolved from dark Rockstar to light
Hoodie.
Rockstar.
oh yeah, like from Rockstar the black to Rockstar the white. Man, this is. You also saw that people are like, Rockstar is a LARP. He's influencer. He's not a developer. Man, you got to embrace it all, because one thing I've learned being in a Bitcoin for what is now, like, it will be man, over a decade actively, is anytime you think you're co-opting Bitcoin or using Bitcoin, Bitcoin is co-opting you and using you in certain way.
Oof.
So you just gotta embrace whatever is coming your way, and keep repeating that mantra, like stay humble, stack sats, proof of work, do all of that, because man, as number goes up, but greed also goes up. And over the years, we will just keep losing people to greed, to exhaustion, to Bitcoin derangement syndrome. So as the ultimate insider, I say, man, stay humble, stack sats, and have fun. If you're not having fun, you need to switch something up, and you gotta find a way to say serious stuff in a non-serious way. I know, Nico, you have saying of Bitcoin or slavery, and people are like, nah, he's not serious. Man, it's literally that. It's literally, like, we see it every day. Politicians continuing to print money, psychopaths, suit coiners getting into Bitcoin, and it's just gonna be way more chaos, where way more slavery for people that don't get into Bitcoin, that don't defend their individual freedom. And we gotta, weave our way forward. And as Uncle likes to say with Opti, scam as many people as possible into profits, get them into Bitcoin. Let's go, people, individual freedom.
Clickbait in the profits.
That also. We have what? How many more years? Like 3 more years with Trump in office. So we can go with like clickbait into profit. If Kamala gets and Democrats get elected, maybe YouTube switches again, and we gotta be buttoned up. Like scam people into vaccines or something. I don't know. Whatever is socially acceptable at that point of time.
Oh man. Well, I'm super pumped to have Rockstar on the show today. And Rockstar, I got some questions for you, brother. So Bitcoin's up 25% this year. It's the year after the halving. Historically, Bitcoin tends to it tends to have a very kind of explosive year the year after the halving. I think a lot of people are feeling underwhelmed, but a lot of people are putting their hopes and expectations into Q4 of this year. How are you feeling about it, bro? How are you feeling about Q4 of 2025? Because I think a lot of people are just, they're expecting the price to go up, and you and I both know when you expect Bitcoin to do something, it tends to do the exact opposite. Rockstar, what's your take about Q4 2025 Bitcoin?
Man, every quarter is phenomenal when you're in Bitcoin, and you just shouldn't. The reason why I'm optimistic is a lot because like I don't focus on price, man. I know where we are at right now. We'll go much higher. Now, which quarter? If I place an expectation on it, I'll just either be too happy or too sad. No, man, I focus really on developing freedom tech, like free and open source software, spending my time with quality people like you gentlemen, and mm, focusing on the fact that yeah, we're monetizing Bitcoin once. So I know that Bitcoin is going much higher than this now. Is it Q4 2025? Who cares, man? Like Bitcoiners will, even if it is, like, will you sell your Bitcoin, Nico?
Bro, sell my Bitcoin for what? What is
Yeah,
there to sell
like
it
it
for?
now goes 2x. What do? Like, you sell it for fiat? Of course
What do you?
not.
What do
No,
you?
we just feel better about ourselves.
What are we gonna sell it for?
Hey, there we go. We've identified. So if you're, the way you feel is impacted by Bitcoin price, just stop it. Don't focus on that. Don't focus on stuff you can't control, because even if it goes 2x again, what you got to do? Sell your Bitcoin? Come on, be better than that. And I like to bring up the whole, oh, what will be the price of Bitcoin in 5 years? Everyone on the stream, if the price that you say is not so crazy that people think you're retarded, you got to up the price. So Opti, what's the price of Bitcoin in
Yeah, the
5 years?
price of Bitcoin in 5 years is 100 million. Me and
Bitcoin.
Rockstar did the math this morning.
Yeah, let's go. So
We're
100 million in 5
100
years.
million.
100 million in 5 years.
100
There
million.
we go.
Anyways, we got Rockstar joining us on the show today. We're going to be talking about something that he's been working on. This is Rockstar Dev at the end of the day. And I think a perfect segue to go into that topic is cover a little bit of the news before we go into the intro. We're going to be talking to Rockstar Dev about it. But something interesting happened in Vietnam. This is a country in Asia, and thank you, Opti. Can you make us bigger? It's a country in Asia, and it's also a very beautiful country. Look at that, very beautiful country in Vietnam. Look at that, man. Look at those islands. Looks majestic. It looks so cool. It looks fake. So this is a beautiful country in Vietnam. But something not so beautiful happened. Check out this article by Crypto Slate. Vietnam's bank account purge is the best publicity for Bitcoin. So let's move it on. Let's check it out. If you've been following the latest news from 1984, you'll know that Vietnam has permanently closed over 86 million bank accounts. For a country with an estimated 200 million bank accounts, that's around 43% being frozen or deleted to, quote, prevent fraud and cyber crime. The account closures follow sweeping new regulations requiring users biometric authentication and provide Bitcoin with one of the best free publicity campaigns to date. 86 what is that? That's not cool. 86 million bank accounts, Vietnam's biometric turn. According to Vietnam News and statements by the State Bank of Vietnam, commercial banks began deleting, not even freezing, they're deleting more than 8. What happened to the money in those accounts? Does that get deleted too?
It's ours now.
It just gets deleted. That money just gets deleted. Boop. You worked for it, deleted. More than 86 million bank accounts at the start of September 2025. Officials state the purge targets accounts that have either not been verified with biometrics or have been flagged as long inactive. The move is billed as a measure to prevent fraud, cybercrime, and money laundering. 113 million of the country's estimated 200 million accounts survived the verification sweep, with around 86 million bank accounts being deemed as inactive. Biometric checks, including face scans, are now mandatory not only for account registration, but for certain online transactions. Foreign residents have been among the hardest hit due to in-person requirements and limited avenues for remote compliance. When banks freeze your account, Vietnam's overnight account closures are not an isolated event. Over recent years, governments and banks worldwide have frozen millions of customer funds, citing fraud, sanctions, and regulatory mandates. In 2022, depositors in several rural banks in China found their funds frozen without warning, sparking public protests and outrage when withdrawals of life savings were blocked due to alleged fraud and mismanagement. In the United States, law enforcement and banks regularly freeze or seize funds during investigation, with civil asset forfeiture impacting citizens who have not been convicted of a crime. So anyways, it keeps going. And again, it reminds me of the passages from The Sovereign Individual, a fantastic book I think every Bitcoiner should read. And it says, these are some of the passages from the book. New technologies will allow the holders of wealth to bypass the national monopolies that have issued and regulated money in the modern period. Their importance for controlling the world's wealth will be transcended by mathematical algorithms that have no physical existence. In the new millennium, cyber money controlled by private markets will supersede fiat money issued by governments. Lacking their accustomed scope to inflate, governments, even in traditionally civil countries, will turn nasty. It goes on to say, businesses that offer services that facilitate the realization of autonomy by individuals will be subject to infiltration, sabotage, and disruption. Arbitrary forfeiture of property, already commonplace in the United States, where it occurs 5,000 times a week, will become even more pervasive. Governments will violate human rights, censor the free flow of information, sabotage useful technologies, and worse. I think this is where we are in the movie, ladies and gentlemen. Here is actually a Reddit post from someone, apparently from Vietnam, and he's asking for advice. This is Carl Menger, a well-known Bitcoin Twitter X person. Says Vietnam just shut down 86 million bank accounts. And what I will say, ladies and gentlemen, listen, if a bank can freeze your money, it ain't your money. If a bank could freeze your money, it ain't your money. If you have to ask someone else for permission to use your money, then it ain't your money. So going back to ROCKSTAR's statement, Bitcoin or slavery is not a hyperbolic statement. It's the real deal. It's serious. It's actually what's happening in reality. So anyways, let's check out this Reddit post, and then we'll open up the discussion with ROCKSTAR joining us today. Bank is closing my account due to biometrics while I'm out of the country. Looking for advice, please. Hi, guys. I'm looking for advice. I used to work in Vietnam. I have left the country after my contract was over. I am waiting for my social insurance money that is owed to me. I was also told that the bank representative, when I open the account, to keep money in the bank once I leave, so it won't be closed until I receive the transfer that I was waiting for. Since I left, this biometrics law has been put in place. I tried to update it online, but it sends you a one-time password to a Vietnamese phone number I don't have anymore. I called the bank and they were no help. Basically said my only option is to fly there in person. Does that sound crazy to anyone else in 2025? You cannot transfer your money and have to fly into a country in person to resolve an issue. On top of it all, they said they will close my account this month if I don't fly in and update the biometrics. Well, the transfer should happen next month from the government, which means they won't be able to transfer me the money I am owed. I will also lose all the money I have in the account as well once it's closed. So I think that article that said deleted, I don't think deleted was a high. Where does that money go, by the way? Where does that money go? So does it just get sent back to the government, I guess? That's the part that they don't ever talk about, that part, right? When it says like, hey, like, the money's frozen or it's seized or, it's taken, you got to ask yourself, who's it taken by? And then also, who gets to print all the money in the first place, right? It's almost as if they have this total monopoly on the issuance and the control of money. And I think Bitcoin is the only escape. Bitcoin is the only way out of this system. That to me is clear as day. Am I wrong, Rockstar? Like what am I? We have to be conscious that we are on YouTube and we love YouTube, right? But Rockstar. But Rockstar, what's your opinion here, man? Because this is some pretty dystopian stuff. I mean, we saw this in Canada. This isn't just happening in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
We saw this happen in Canada with the Canadian truckers protests. But this is some pretty dystopian stuff, man. This is crazy. This is insane. 86 million accounts, 43% of the bank accounts in Vietnam were deleted overnight because of biometrics. What's your take, Rockstar?
Man, well, since we're on YouTube and we adore YouTube, let's approach this seriously, super seriously, because it is a serious problem. You guys saw this was like a couple of years ago, but it was, I think, one of the biggest breaches in history, where 815 million people personal information from India was leaked. And we all in US have experienced those letters that come into mail, and it's like, oops, sorry, your private information has been leaked. So this is the type of future that we should keep in mind, is that all these different entities, banks, companies, they're literally required by government to collect private personal information of people, and then they lose it. And it's like, what? Oops. Your social security number, your address, your full name, it's just that data is stolen from you and then used for phishing, targeting by scams, opening new credit card account. So this is where what we are doing is we are reforming the system through our efforts to bring up, like, build and get as many people to use the better system that Bitcoin is. Because again, like, what will now banks in Vietnam do when they're required to collect face scans of their customers? Man, and imagine when that data leaks and is then used by nefarious actors in like AI models to produce videos. Like, what will female customers of that bank do? So tons of serious questions, and this is for you, YouTube, Uncle being serious, and we can switch to being less serious, because it's just demonstrated what's behind all of this, and we need a better system. We need a better system.
Yeah, we need an alternative system. And I think an important conversation to have is, what is the role of government? I think that is a very important discussion to have. It's a very, because you have to understand, at least in American history, right? The role of government has expanded tremendously since 1913, since the establishment of the Federal Reserve, and the role of government in people's lives. Like the whole idea of the government, basically having a monopoly on money, was that they would be accountable, right? But in actuality, the exact opposite has happened, right? Now that the government has the ability to essentially create revenue for themselves for free by printing money, the accountability actually goes away. When you have a government that, their source of revenue is direct taxation, and it's only direct taxation, the politicians are going to care a whole lot more about what their constituents have to say, and about what their ideas are and what their grievances are, versus this kind of current system that we have, where they're somewhat immune. They're like in a bubble. They're like encapsulated.
Literally.
And they don't really have to care. And we played you guys this video. Me and Opti were kind of making fun of it the other day of the head of the I don't know, the head of the European Union, Ursula, one of Opti's exes, Ursula von der Leyen or whatever. And she was basically straight up saying, like, to like a clapping audience, like basically saying, like, look, like, if we don't roll out a central bank digital currency, everyone's going to lose their job. Like, like, it was such a crazy statement. But I think it shows, how desperate they are, how much they fear losing control over money, because I think that once they lose control over money, they have to justify they have to justify their role in society, right? What is their role? Right? That's a big question. It kind of reminds me of like when Elon bought X and he fired like 80% of the staff, and X has been running better than ever before with 20% of the staff that it had before. You got to ask yourself, what is that extra 80% of the staff? What were they doing the entire time? And you see these crazy videos of like, have you seen those videos, Opti, of like my day of going into work,
they're horrible.
of like like they show up at like 10:30,
literally push like 3 papers and do nothing all day.
They show up at like 10:30, they like go and make a matcha, they like, oh, it's work time. They work for an hour and it's like, oh, I gotta get lunch, and then there's like a fitness center in the, it's just
sounds great.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I love it. No, guys, what are you
that.
talking about? Like, I love it. I think we should provide this, especially for our politicians, because this will keep them busy so that they don't do all those sessions, pass the crazy laws. We gotta keep in mind that there is 2% of population that's highly psychotic. If we do not organize political system for them and their little elections and everything else, these people would be running gangs, So this way we get them into politics and then they're busy over there, being outraged, going on Senate floor, but they're very important people. But it's working. We just need to take away the money printer from them, because man, they go on a election tour, say all the lies, and now they're like, oh, I'm responsible to fix problems. It's like, no, leave us alone. Leave us individuals alone. We have it figured out. You just drink your maca and what you're saying. So we are moving towards that system, and it's just as soon as Bitcoin can enforce fiscal discipline on politicians and governments, we'll all be better off. So they can't.
I agree. And we'll be able to build them a sauna and matcha machines, right? I agree with ROCKSTAR, right? Like
AI girlfriends.
Yeah, we need comprehensive adult daycare with all the amenities.
Perfect. No, let's go. Let's build it.
All right, everybody. It's going to be a fantastic show. We have ROCKSTAR in the house today. He's going to be talking about one of the latest things he's been working on. For anyone who doesn't know ROCKSTAR is the rockstar behind BTC Pay server. He's also contributed tremendously for many projects around the industry, many of which you know by name. But I don't know if ROCKSTAR is comfortable with me name dropping a lot of them.
No, I'll stay humble.
But ROCKSTAR truly is a rockstar dev, and we have the honor of having him on the show today, and we're going to be talking about one of the latest things he's working on. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned, and perhaps we get into the discussion of the Bitcoin core versus knots, because everyone's throwing mud at each other. Someone in the chat wrote, Bitcoin University is going ham. By the way, I love Matt, great content creator. But did he drop a video Adam back running malware?
No, I would love to talk about that, especially because I was with Adam now in Nashville. There was a great summit with Cathy Wood on Bitcoin. So yeah, we could talk about that.
Rod killed it, bro. What was it? The something.
Imagine
if. Yes, it's so good. So Rod and the Bitcoin Park team are crushing it. Anyways, guys, it's gonna be a fantastic show. So lock yourself in. We still got a ton of content for you guys. But before we jump into it, I do want to give a very special shout out to our lead sponsor. Simply Bitcoin would not be on air if it wasn't for our partners, and we're very picky on who we choose to partner with. Guys, go check out bitcoinwell.com, the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or check the link in the video/podcast description. It takes 2 to 5 minutes to get signed up. Bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to buy Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin Well different, what makes them unique compared to all the other on-ramps, and why we recommend them here at Simply Bitcoin, is that it's automatic self-custody. What does that mean? That means that when you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, as soon as the funds clear, it goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address. They don't even give you the ability to leave the Bitcoin on the exchange. So definitely go to bitcoinwell.com/simply today to get started. If you're a higher net worth individual looking to buy $50,000 worth of Bitcoin or more, you're a family office, you're a higher net worth individual, you're a trust, you're an organization, and you want a tailored white glove service designed to help you buy Bitcoin directly to self-custody, you want to check out Bitcoin Well Infinite. To get started, go to bitcoinwell.com/OTC today. Guys, this is the best place to build your Bitcoin stack. Go to bitcoinwell.com/simply today. All right, everybody, let's start the show. We have tons to cover. We're going to be right back in just a bit. I want to give a shout out to our partner, StampSeed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed phrases really secure? StampSeed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need for you to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates. Instead of just writing them down on paper, paper is fragile. Titanium plates are strong. Your words are actually stamped into the titanium plate with this hammer and these letter stamping tools. Once the words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. And now you can customize your titanium seed plates. You can upload your design or logo, and they will laser engrave it on the back of your seed plate, the opposite side of where the words are. Stamp your seed on StampSeed and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the stampseed.com store. All right, everybody, we are back. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $112,680. Sats per dollar, 887. Block height, 916,061. Realized monetary inflation, 0.85%. Market cap, 2.25 trillion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 8.39%. Percentage issued, 94.88%. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to change it up today. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we got Rockstar Dev in the house, and we're going to be talking about what he's been working on lately. And then we're going to continue with the regularly scheduled programming. So, Rockstar, the floor is yours, my friend. Let me pull up this thing. Here we go. Sam Rock Protocol. Rockstar. I hear rock in the protocol. What is the Sam Rock Protocol? What's up, dude?
So it's a protocol for exporting wallet descriptors, and the idea really came up during HRF event, like Global Summit, where following NICO, yours, Bitcoin or slavery, we saw that we need to make onboarding onto Bitcoin way easier. And the idea here is that really you have a BTC Pay server to run your online shop, donation page, anything like that, and that it can be hosted by some highly technical individual that can maintain one server, but have hundreds of individuals have their shops on that server while funds arrive to their self-custody. So the whole solution is non-custodial. And what Uncle has done over the past few months, together with Samson from Aqua Wallet, shout out to Samson, is just made this super easy. I actually am curious if we can set up something also for Simply Bitcoin, maybe some merch drop or something like that, where you do bring up a BTC Pay server. Just go to Samrock protocol page, click generate QR code, boom. And then what you do after that is, once you have the QR code, you scan it with your phone, mobile wallet, Aqua, install Aqua on the phone. And once you have payments over here, all those payments will not go to the server, they will go to your mobile phone. So I don't know. What
Oh,
do you
wow.
think, Nico? Could we set something up where more funds arrive to you, or we send the funds to Opti's phone?
Yeah, send them to my phone.
Let's do
Okay,
it. Let's do it.
that's how we were gonna do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So first, Rockstar, let's give a little bit of context for just the audio listeners, right?
Yeah, and maybe the context is the story where we tried to set up our BTC Pay server for our store, and maybe we're just not smart enough. And now it sounds like we're going to be able to do this again.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's break it down. So, Rockstar, what is right now? What is the current state? And I think you're like the perfect person to answer this question. Like, what is the current state of being able to pay someone in Bitcoin? Like, what is the technical requirements that they need to have? Is it difficult? The floor is yours. Like, I just want everyone to understand why this is important, because they're tuning into Simply Bitcoin. They're like, okay, who is this Rockstar guy?
Yeah.
You know, who's this Anon guy? Like, why should people care about this specific project? What is it? What is the problem that it's trying to solve?
Man, it's because we all need to eventually switch to Bitcoin standard, right? Everyone needs to be able to send and receive Bitcoin. In 2017, Nico, we all had, like you and me, we had participation in the whole block size wars. Before that, it was everyone will just be using on-chain transactions, right? In on-chain transactions, they have this good property of, when you're sending Bitcoin, it arrives to your wallet address, and it can be on your phone, it can be in cold storage, it can be in stored in a good way. The thing is, though, we then had Lightning, right? And the first thing when Lightning started 2019, 2020 was everybody is going to run a Lightning node. Well, 5 years later, it's obviously not happening, which is why, man, this is why I was working so hard on technology over the years. Started with BTC Pay server, but then I switched to Strike. And Strike is something that people now use every day, and it's a great UI, UX, great user experience, but it is custodial. What we need eventually is that everyone is still accepting Bitcoin, transacting on Bitcoin network, but it is self-custody. Am I making sense, Nico?
Absolutely making sense.
And
And I love how you went through the history of it. And I think the history of it is super important, Rockstar, because I think a lot of us had hopes and dreams of you know, and I think a lot of it was idealistic of how Bitcoin was going to be used, right? And throughout the years, this has changed. And I think Lightning is fantastic, but I think what a lot of people underestimated was, yes, Lightning is fantastic if you use a custodial Lightning wallet. Then you're right back where you started, aren't you? So, you know, this is the problem that, you know, people are trying to solve, and it's not an easy problem to solve. And I think Rockstar, you're in the vanguard of that. You're in the forefront of that. So we can truly live in this world that we want to live in, because we really don't have a choice. It's really Bitcoin or slavery. And I think people have to understand that as much as we love certain custodians, even if they start from the most idealistic, you know, morally grounded positioning, at the end of the day, they're going to inevitably, if they get big enough, they're inevitably going to get pressured. This is what happened to all
yeah,
the banks, by the way. Banks don't like it. This was the original vision to kind of give everybody context, a little bit of history too. The original vision for PayPal was much better than the vision for PayPal today. PayPal was Frankensteined because of regulations and government. PayPal was not meant to be this kind of, a lot of people have bad experiences with PayPal. They have their payments rejected. They have their accounts closed. That's due to regulation. That's not due to the free market and, the free market doing what the free market does. And I think what Bitcoiners have come to the realization, right? There you go. How Peter Thiel almost created Bitcoin. What people have come to the realization is that, listen, as long as there's a custodian, as long as there's a middleman, that custodian will inevitably be co-opted. It will be corrupted. The only solution is peer-to-peer money. If you have peer-to-peer money backed by a truly decentralized protocol, that's the only thing that will be able to resist the pressure, and because it's a tremendous amount of power from being able to control those middlemen. Anyways, Rockstar, I don't know if that helped at all or added a little bit of context.
No, it adds tons of context, and it's a huge motivation why I'm doing this, man. What I'm doing with the coding is because I have specific technical skills, and to me, as a cypherpunk, it's extremely motivating that code that I produce and tools that I produce are then used by individuals around the world to fortify and expand their individual freedom. Like that's what it's all about. And Samrock is just one of those efforts I've done, because Opti said it. You guys try to set up BTC Pay server. It's a couple of hours. You do like set up a Lightning node, then you need to manage liquidity. Then liquidity runs out. With this, you have none of that. Someone else can even run. There we go. Particular set of skills. Man, you just have someone run a BTC Pay server. It doesn't even need to be you. You download Aqua Wallet on your phone. Click button, scan a QR code, boom, funds are now arriving to your mobile phone. And we gotta keep improving UI UX, because man, you two are technical. I would say you are technical. Imagine for people that are not technical as you, and we gotta onboard those people as well on Bitcoin.
Absolutely, 100%, man. And
it's like you reference Peter Thiel. That's a great reference, and I think we gotta move in the direction of world where we don't have rulers, we have rules. So it's like rules, not rulers. World of protocols, where all this crazy bureaucracy is taken out. We have protocols, hopefully open source, and then individuals can live a life they want, maximum individual freedom, rules, not rulers.
amen to that. I love that. Love that. Guys, Rockstar, where can people find out more about this? How can they download it? How can they start kind of experimenting with this? Is it just a matter of downloading the Aqua wallet?
Downloading the Aqua wallet, having an account on BTC Pay server instance, which I can provide, I guess, for people that want to run shops. But the easiest way is just after this episode, I'm gonna send post. By the way, secret to happiness in life is send tweet or send post. So I'm gonna send post, summarize everything we talked about, and then get people to use it, and get them onboarded so that they let's go.
Boom, boom, boom. Anyways, Rockstar Dev, thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin.
Wait. Do you have another minute, Rockstar? Do you have another minute?
Yeah, we need to answer the comments.
Yeah, the chat really wants to know your thoughts on the core versus not.
Okay.
See, that's another example of complexity we're in, man, because Bitcoin Core is changing the behavior of the network, and that's the part that Uncle doesn't love. It's the whole what we have a new elite that gets to decide what you as user should run. Is like, no, I think we should go beyond that, and this is where I absolutely support individuals that are like, my node, my rules. And whatever anyone is saying that this is not, oh, it's just a parameter, oh, it's just this, oh, it's just that, like, you're changing behavior of the network. And we don't want that. We want Bitcoin as an opt-in system. We don't want you're automatically opted out like it's in fiat society, where just by the fact that you are born, suddenly you're becoming a taxable serf of certain government. It's like, no, you gotta opt into everything. You as individual have some inalienable rights, and let's just keep going towards building a world where everything is opt-in for individual, and more opties. Yeah, that's definitely
more opties. Love it. All right, everybody. Well, this was the one, the only Rockstar Dev. Go give him a follow on Twitter. We have his handle on the screen right now, and go support his work. He's making Bitcoin, the use of Bitcoin, easy for everyone, not just people that are technical. This is what it's all about. Bitcoin is for anybody. Anyways, Rockstar, thank you so much for joining us on today's show. Really appreciate it, homie.
Thank you for having me. Anytime. See ya.
Take it easy, dude. All right, everybody, we have a fantastic show lined up for you guys. We have tons to cover still. We got the news segment lined up for you guys. We got some videos to play, some interesting things to cover. Dennis Porter made an announcement. Apparently, we have someone running. The first governor is running on a Bitcoin platform, which I find that quite interesting. So we have the video of that. Dennis Porter made a huge announcement about it this morning. I think we're going to start to see more and more of this. The more and more of people that are running on the Bitcoin platform, regardless of political party. I'm happy that the candidate is a Democrat, because I've been saying, like, I've been saying that I've been saying that Bitcoin is bipartisan. I've been saying that Bitcoin is not for the red team or the blue team, that Bitcoin's for anybody for a while now. So I'm really glad that there's a Democrat that's really pushing forward the kind of Bitcoin platform in California, which happens to be one of the bluest states in the country, right? So we're going to be playing his campaign video. Dennis was making a big deal about this announcement for the last couple of days on X. Some people feel a certain way about it. I personally feel like it is a big deal, because imagine if we have more governors that are running on the Bitcoin platform. That's how you win. Like, this is a grassroots movement fundamentally at the end of the day. So it is kind of breaking news. And then Alti's got the culture segment lined up. So we still have a fantastic show ahead. And you guys want to smash that like button. We still got a lot to cover. We're going to be right back in just a bit.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin, the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Unlock the liquidity in your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin. They've issued $9 billion in loans to over 10,000 customers since 2018. I absolutely love these guys. Not only do I have an account with them, but I also have a loan. And what I love about them is that there are no monthly payments, and you could pay back the loan at any time. As soon as you send your Bitcoin as collateral, you'll have cash in your account within 24 hours. Over 1,000 5-star customer reviews, and they've never lost a single dollar or sat of customer money. Go to learn.ledin.io/simply today, and you'll get 0.25% off your first loan. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money. It's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store.
Pew, 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 pew. We are back. All right, everybody. Let's check out this. Dennis Porter had a massive announcement this morning. Very divisive. A lot of people feel a certain way about it. I personally am a big fan of Dennis. I think he's done a great work in terms of pushing forward the strategic Bitcoin initiatives in on the state level. And you know, I think the states are going to be the first ones that are really going to potentially, launch strategic Bitcoin reserves. And I think Dennis has been in the forefront of that. So anyways, this is his massive breaking. Extremely pro-Bitcoin candidate officially declares candidacy for governor of California, declares support for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. I think this is a big deal. And let's see who that candidate is. His name is Ian. Is that how you say it? Ian?
It's Ian.
Ian Calderon, candidate for governor of California, former majority leader of the California State Assembly, founder and CEO of Majority Advisors. Love my kids. My wife is rad. So yeah, let's check out his campaign announcement.
Something's broken in California.
Gas prices going up again.
The state's housing crisis.
The cost of everything only getting worse.
We're working harder than ever, but still feel like we can't catch up.
For too many families, the California dream has become a story we tell, not a reality we live.
Yeah, the cost of everything only getting worse as groceries, gas, and keeping a roof over your head increase for Californians across the state.
What if I told you that living in California doesn't have to be this hard? That we can make life more affordable, homes more attainable, and opportunity possible again? I was the first millennial ever elected to the California legislature, the youngest majority leader in our state's history. At the height of my political career, I made a different choice. I walked away to focus on my family. For the last 5 years, I've been raising my kids, building a business, and living in the real world, watching everyday life in our state get harder for families like mine. Childcare costs are out of control, paychecks aren't keeping up with the cost of living, gas prices are the highest in the nation, and now buying a home is becoming out of reach.
And a stunning new look at just how many homes in your neighborhood are owned by Wall Street companies.
While corporations and foreign investors scoop up entire neighborhoods.
Investment companies are preventing local families from attaining home ownership opportunities.
California is not doing enough for us. My generation pays bills on our phones. We send money to each other with Venmo and we save in Bitcoin. But the people running our government, they're trying to use yesterday's ideas to solve today's problems, and it isn't working. Our problems sure as hell aren't going to be solved by listening to Democrats and Republicans fighting in Washington, D.C.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No, ain't nothing.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
I'm a Democrat, but I don't take marching orders from anyone, and I certainly don't always agree with my party.
And that's okay. In this house, we don't always agree on everything.
Guys, let's not fight over it. I'm a Democrat who believes in working families, small businesses, and common sense solutions, not the political extremes holding California back. California should be the best place in the world to raise a family, buy a home, and build a future. But to get there, we need a new generation of leadership, one that listens, adapts, and gets results. I'm Ian Calderon, and I'm running for governor. Join us at ian2026.com for a new generation of leadership.
All right. Thoughts and feelings. Okay, so I come from a different school of thought where less government is the solution to make things better. People to their own devices, and the more freedom people have to make their own choices, the more free the market is. The more prosperity of society will have. I'm from Florida, and it's dope. Friendly business environment, less regulations, strong Second Amendment protections, and strong First Amendment protections as well. So I do love the fact that he is open to Bitcoin, pro Bitcoin, and I think that is going to fix things in and of itself. Where I think I have a little bit of I always get cautious when I hear politicians saying, "Hey, I'm gonna fix things," right? Because I think, like, fundamentally, like, I think government breaks things more than it fixes things. I think it's not productive. It doesn't generate revenue. Entrepreneurs generate revenue, right? Like, people fix problems. Like, that's my philosophy. That's the way that I look at the world. So that's the only thing where, like, I'm, like, cautious about the whole thing, where it's like, hey, vote for me, I'm gonna fix all your problems. But he did mention Bitcoin. I think that's good. And he did, according to Dennis, he did mention how he's gonna make it's gonna make California have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, which I don't know. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's a good thing? Wait, could you pull up that tweet from Dennis? The state of California has introduced a bill to make. No, that was back in 2022.
2022, yeah.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, he does have this tweet.
California should make, yeah. Like, I love that. I'll vote for him any day if that happens. So yeah, I mean, it's Bitcoin over party. I've said this like thousands of times. I think my only gripe with, like, political commercials and stuff is, like, when it's kind of always like, hey, like, we'll solve your problems. Like, that to me is, like, where, like, I always have, like, a problem with that, because politicians won't solve your problems. You will solve your problems, right? Expecting the government to solve expecting government to solve housing prices and, like, gasoline prices are just that, I don't know. It's contradictory. Anyways, Ian said, enjoy spending time with Dennis Porter and his team in DC, building bipartisan support for Bitcoin. All agree digital assets are now here to stay. Now it's just a matter of working on the right balance between access, right to self-custody, and responsible consumer protections. Bullish on the future. I mean, I love that. Like, right to self-custody, I think that's fantastic. I don't know what balance there is. But shout out to Dennis. I mean, this is great. This is fantastic. I wonder how his party's going to react to that.
Yeah, that's the big thing, and that's where I take this. I'll hold off my cynicism at first, and I will give credit where it's due. It's something that Nico and I have been saying on the show, and Nico was the first one to kind of explain this to me. We do want to see Bitcoin become a bipartisan thing. Like, we don't want it to be a partisan issue, and so This is a big move right now in the sense that it's starting to cross the party lines here. And obviously, we believe that everyone should be holding Bitcoin. We believe it's for anyone. I believe every American should be holding Bitcoin. And so I do love to see that, you know, this Democrat here in particular, and hopefully others in his party, are starting to embrace Bitcoin and realize if they aren't adopting Bitcoin, or at least not fighting Bitcoin, they're going to get left behind. So at least they're adapting to this. And as we've been saying for a while, it's no longer a partisan issue. For a while there, I was showing you guys a bunch of different examples from different headlines, essentially showing that a lot of people were getting turned off on Bitcoin because of the Trump family going so hard into Bitcoin. And they were kind of making this as like a MAGA issue or a Republican issue. And now we're seeing this, you know, governor, how do you say it? Governor, isn't it governorial? I don't know. This guy trying to be the governor of California, embracing Bitcoin and seemingly making this a part of his campaign. Now, I think he's probably got an uphill battle fighting or, you know, competing against Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom has a huge foothold in California, for better or worse. And obviously, as you can tell from my Valley Girl accent, you might have a guess where I originally came from. So I would love to see him actually be able to turn around California, because it is not doing that well, and it is doing a lot of things that I personally disagree with. But with his track record on Twitter seems pretty good. He's been in the trenches for a while fighting for Bitcoin. He does see what is going on. So hopefully this does, even if he doesn't end up the new governor of California, hopefully it does open up the conversation and more people start to embrace Bitcoin. And I'm sure Bitcoiners will rally around him just because he is a Bitcoiner. Now, of course, as we say all the time, I think Bitcoin is above political parties. Like, Bitcoin supersedes all of that. It transcends the political aisles. And as long as you're embracing Bitcoin, then I'm kind of okay with you. I think there is a certain aspect of unity here that, hey, if you embrace Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. You know, you're in the crew with us. Now, I think as we get more and more details, it is going to be very interesting to kind of break down what exactly is part of his legislation, what exactly he wants to do. But it does sound like he wants to have a strategic reserve for California itself. And on that question, it's always been the same. I think every state will probably have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. If they want to be competitive moving forward, they have to have a strategic Bitcoin reserve. That's just like the end all, you know, final destination of all this is you need to hold Bitcoin. Everyone, every institution, every state, every country will eventually hold Bitcoin, and you're better off adopting this up front. Now, I think my more cynical stuff here is just how hyped up this was. And then you're like, okay, this, you know, you're pushing your weight behind a governor candidate. You can do what you want. And that's cool. All cool by me. But like some of the tweets by Dennis, and I love Dennis. I fully respect Dennis's work. It seemed a little overhyped, but he's just really good at marketing, and I love that. So, hey, another person out there that is trying to hype up Bitcoin and get as many eyeballs on it as possible. And I think this is all good. We will see what happens eventually and what the, you know, outcome of this actually is. And my last kind of joke here and trolling is I need to see more footage of him surfing. If I'm not actually a one issue voter like Nico, my one issue that would be the defining thing is if you're going to say you're a surfer, I need to see some more videos, bro.
I mean, he was waxing the board.
Oh my God, he was waxing the board.
He was waxing.
He did drop in on a wave. I'll give him that much. But I need to see what he looks like riding the wave.
We got a fellow Bitcoin YouTuber in the chat. Dude, I'm sorry, bro. I can't pronounce that.
Passive.
Anyways, go give this guy a follow. He's a Hungarian Bitcoin channel. He's got 20K subs. Go give him a follow, ladies and gentlemen. We need more Bitcoin content creators internationally. Anyways.
Yeah, there it is. Gubernatorial. There we go.
Gubernatorial. Elaine coming in hot.
There we go.
Dropping the sauce, dude. Wait, could you put up Elaine, that comment? Nico, what does it say? Nico, are you changing your love of Trump? No, I love Trump. I think Trump's doing great for Bitcoin.
Wow, yeah. The Rage dropped some stuff that I'm going to cover right now. That we gotta put their foot to the fire here. But Nico does love Trump. I mean, I love Trump as a person. Not the biggest MAGA guy, but you know.
Oh, what is something wrong with the internet? I don't know.
Nah.
A little pixelated on our
Pixelated. Oh yeah. Are we still here? Are we still here, guys? Can you still hear us? Are we still live?
I think we're back.
Okay.
Oh no. What's going on?
Let me know. Hit me in the chat. Can you see us? Are we still here? Gubernatorial. Gubernatorial, is that? Okay, they're saying lag. All right, the internet's acting up on us for some reason.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, we're gonna hit the culture and we're gonna try to fix it.
They hear us. They hear us.
We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technology. Why HIVE in 2025? Unstoppable growth. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's position to quadruple their global footprint, making them one of the world's fastest growing miners in 2025. And with elite operations that consistently top the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash, HIVE's now headquartered in the USA. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable Bitcoin mining. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at hivedigitaltech.com. I want to give a shout out to our partner, bitcoinben.io. If you're into freedom, Bitcoin, and building a real community, this is for you. Gain exclusive access to real-world, members-only, private clubs across the globe, featuring poker nights, expert-led classes, co-working spaces, educational meetups, live events, and more. Current locations include Sarasota, Nashville, Boston, Dallas, Las Vegas, and St. Louis, with new clubs launching soon in West Palm Beach, Scottsdale, Alabama, and beyond. Not to mention Bitcoin Ben's resorts in El Salvador. There's 3 of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. You'll also get access to the first fully backed Bitcoin bank with fiat ramps and savings accounts. It's called Private Key Bank, and you guessed it, it's based out of El Salvador. Go peer-to-peer with Bitcoin bulk buys, tap into home equity for long-term Bitcoin growth, and join their exclusive mining pools if you're interested in mining. What are you waiting for? Head over to bitcoinben.io, join today, where Bitcoin meets freedom.
Yo, so people are giving us heat. Sorry, can't support as Simply Bitcoin anymore. Nico went full Dem support in California. Did you not hear all my hesitations? Like, I was very hesitant. I'm not a big fan of big government. I'm not a big fan of government solutions, bro. Damn, it's so divisive. I can't with the midterms. Bro.
I think, I was going to cover something, but this might just be the time. This is the culture.
The midterms are going to be spicy as hell. Like, god damn, man.
Yeah, reread that tweet. Reread that tweet.
Rockstar coming in with the support. I appreciate it, bro. But like,
should I pull it up? Let me pull it up. Let me pull this up.
God damn, dude.
Wow, Nico. Hey. That's funny, man.
I'm glad you find it funny, bro.
Oh, this is hilarious. Let's see. AJ. Shouts out to AJ. Here, let me pull this up. Long. All right. So for the audio listeners, sorry, can't support SB anymore. Nico went full Dem support in Cali. Not gonna do it. Sorry, I unsub.
That literally, bro, you heard me like criticize his campaign video.
Yo,
got lost in the side. Like,
oh man,
you heard me criticize his campaign video in like 3 different ways. Like, you heard my hesitancy. You heard my hesitancy towards the video. I told you guys that big government is not the solution. That I like individual freedoms and that I love Florida. And if that's what you got from what I just said.
You know what's really funny about this, Nico, is if you go back and rewind this, I was probably way more favorable to this than you were. And you get caught out for. Yo,
dude, is this is audience capture, bro? This is what it's about.
Well, this is why you gotta.
This is what it's about. Dude.
I guess this is where we break out of the echo chamber here. I guess, Nico.
It's too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. We gotta be inclusive in the messaging. We support freedom, individual liberty, the Second Amendment, and small government.
Maybe he doesn't know what that means.
And Bitcoin.
It's so clear what you're saying, but
and any candidate that supports those things, we support as well.
Oh
right?
man, this is so funny.
I don't know how clear cut. Opti wants to go full.
I would say a lot of other things.
Oh man. But
dude, anyone that's embracing Bitcoin is on team Bitcoin. Whether you believe in their politics or not is besides the point. You need more people embracing Bitcoin. So I stand with Nico on this. It's not like we may have our own views here and you may not agree with this guy, but if he's embracing Bitcoin and he is, putting that target on his back, because obviously, as we've been covering here on the show for a long time, the Democrat Party has not been favorable towards Bitcoin. Obviously, they're not a monolithic entity, and there are dissenting voices here. But you got to give this guy props for what he did by doing this. As much as I was cynical about, and I was trolling and laughing about Dennis Porter's kind of hype tweets about it, as Nico mentioned, this is the first governor to embrace Bitcoin. Now, whether he's in the political party that you agree with is totally besides the point. He is embracing Bitcoin. He's making it a part of his campaign. Now, will he actually have a chance to beat Newsom is probably a totally different conversation. Whether you agree with his politics is a totally different conversation. The fact that he came out as a Bitcoiner is super important, and we do need more people to do this. As I've been covering on the show, and I just said it, we've been seeing the trend in all of the news media and all of the corporate press essentially trying to label Bitcoin as a Republican talking point, as a partisan issue. We need everyone holding Bitcoin. So maybe you don't like this guy's politics. That's totally favorable. Like, that's totally justified. But the fact he's embracing Bitcoin is definitely he's on team Bitcoin. Now, obviously, you can scrutinize what he's saying and what his beliefs are, but him embracing Bitcoin and embracing the future, embracing technology, like, this is good for everyone here.
I look, there's a comment at the end. Look, I'm Max Kaiser's quote. All right. You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. Like, all you got to do is you got to get people to take the orange pill. That's why we're so focused on not party, but it's not about party. It's about how you look. What is your stance towards Bitcoin? Are you pro Bitcoin? Are you anti Bitcoin? Are you pro CBDC? Are you anti CBDC? Everything else will take care of itself. Everything else will take care of itself. You don't even need to fight the fight and scream at the other side and do this and do that. You don't need to do any of that. You just got to get someone to take the orange pill. And then when they take the orange pill, they're obviously going to want their bags to do well. So they're going to want people to take self-custody. They're going to want positive Bitcoin regulation, right? You don't need to go and directly attack from the front people's differing ideological opinions. Like that is the divide and conquer method. Like it's so divisive and nothing gets done. Like when one party gets in power, then the other part, it just goes back and forth. But regardless of what party gets in power, the fundamental issue doesn't get changed. Like he said something about housing and gas being too expensive. The reason gas and housing is too expensive is because they're printing money, right? Like this is the thing that Bitcoin fixes. Bitcoin fixes this fundamental problem without the need for a politician. What we want as Bitcoiners is we want a pro-Bitcoin candidate, because if you have a pro-Bitcoin candidate, that means from the regulatory angle, they're going to leave you alone. And if you leave Bitcoin alone to its own devices, Bitcoin's going to do its thing and it's going to prove to the world that it's better money. And then more people adopt it as better money. And then more people escape the inflationary rat race. That is what your life is like when you live on a fiat standard. So, from a political standpoint, I just want more and more people to be pro-Bitcoin, whether they are Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter to me, because if you have pro-Bitcoin regulation, you're going to create an environment where Bitcoin entrepreneurs thrive, where Bitcoiners can live without the fear of persecution or being thrown in a box. And Bitcoin's going to win because it's better money. That's what I want. I don't care whether that person comes from Team Red or Team Blue. Now, the reason that we were trying to literally talk very positively about this person is because that specific party has not been positive towards Bitcoin. So the fact that you have somebody on that side of the aisle that has the balls to stand up and be run on a pro-Bitcoin platform and say stuff like, I want to make Bitcoin the legal tender of California, as a Bitcoiner, I'm like, that is fantastic. That's great, because all the other political stuff will take care of itself. You can't have big government without a money printer. You can't have it. It's impossible, right? You want more freedom? You want a government on a Bitcoin standard. It's as simple as that. A government on a Bitcoin standard is going to have constraints on spending. They're not going to be able to print money. So if they can't print money, they can't buy boats. I mean, they can't buy votes. They can't
buy boats either.
They can't incentivize people to vote for them. If you can't print money, you can't run the social programs. You can't spend more than what you collect in tax revenue. The United States currently spends $2 trillion. That's more than the GDP of most countries on planet Earth. Then it collects in tax revenue. That's how much it spends. So again, you're going to have government automatically becomes limited the moment they lose the money printer. The government is going to shrink the moment they lose the money printer. That is not a political opinion. That is not a ideological opinion. That is just economics. They're not going to be able to fund this massive administrative state. They're not going to be able to. They're going to be constrained by revenue. And if they're only constrained by tax revenue, then they could only grow so big. If a government could only grow so big, the bigger the government, the less freedom you have. The bigger the government, the less freedom you have. Because the bigger the government, the more they need tax revenue in order to sustain itself. It's as simple as that. Right? And prosperity doesn't come from big government. Solution doesn't come from big government. Solution comes from entrepreneurs and individuals taking agency and risks to solve problems. That's like, it's just common sense. So again, I don't care whether they're on Team Red or they're on Team Blue. If they support Bitcoin, if they're saying, I'm going to get out of the way, I want Bitcoin as legal tender in my state, I don't care whether they're Republican or Democrat. They're going to act in my best interest. They're going to act in your best interest as a Bitcoiner. All the ideological stuff goes out the window. The reason that you cannot afford a house today is not because of bad policy. The reason you can't afford a house today is because of the amount of money that they've printed. That's literally the reason. The reason that things are unaffordable is because of the money printing. It's because of fiat. It's because of the fiat tax. You want to fix that, you fix the money. Switch to a Bitcoin standard. You won't have a fiat tax. You won't have an inflationary tax. In fact, life has been getting cheaper for you every single year. Every single year, life is getting progressively less expensive for you if you've been on a Bitcoin standard. Jeff Booth says it the best. The natural state of the free market is deflationary. The only thing that has been able to successfully reflect the natural state of the free market has been Bitcoin. Why? Because it's the only currency that hasn't been able to be manipulated and coerced. So it's the only currency that naturally reflects the state of the free market. And I'm not selling dreams. I'm selling reality. This is the reality. This is the truth. Don't take my word for it. Go priced in Bitcoin. Right? Look at the commercials that Coinbase is dropping and stuff. It's just like, look at housing. If you look at housing on a dollar terms, you're like, yo, housing just keeps getting more and more expensive. It's depressing as hell. It's really depressing. If you look at housing on a Bitcoin standard, every single year, that dream house that you wanted gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper in Bitcoin terms. Now imagine the entire world. Imagine the entire world living with that type of hope, of being able to live for the future. And again, I'm not some politician that's trying to sell you a dream. I'm literally just telling you, like, you can live your dream now. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to get rich quick. This is not a get rich quick scheme. All we've been advocating for is like, dude, use a better unit of account. If you use a better unit of account, you're going to be able to save into the future. That's it. It's as simple as that. It's not rocket science. So to kind of weave it back in and end the show, because it has been going long, I'll end it with this. I don't care whether you're team red or you're team blue. If you're pro Bitcoin, anti CBDC, I will vote for you. That's it. It's as simple as that. The reason that we've been a little bit more team red on Simply Bitcoin is because team red has been extremely pro Bitcoin, and team blue, again, not monolithic, clearly, with this guy running for governor in California. Team blue has been a little bit anti Bitcoin, right? But I hope things change, and because Bitcoin is not a partisan issue, right? And I hope that this is what this guy is proving. Anyways.
Yeah, I'll just add, look, I won't go as far as Nico on the whole voting thing. I'm not saying that you have to go vote for this guy. Obviously, I don't live in California, so I'm not out here voting for this guy per se. But what we do know is that Bitcoin is the Trojan horse, and hey, if they want to embrace Bitcoin and they think it's going to help them win an election, and that pushes Bitcoin to more people, I'm all for that. I'm all for more people hearing about Bitcoin, breaking out of the echo chamber, shifting the Overton window. So, kudos to this guy, and I hope it goes somewhere. I hope he actually makes an impact, because if his candidacy does make an impact and the main force behind it is Bitcoin, that's going to wake more people up to not only the power of Bitcoiners as a movement, but the power of Bitcoin. And like I said, it's a Trojan horse. So more people holding it, it's good for everyone that holds Bitcoin. It's good for the world. Fix the money, fix the world, all that good stuff. So I'm glad that guy triggered Nico. I think that was a good combo.
Yeah, that was the culture segment. Anyways, today is September 23rd, 2025. I'm your host, Nico. This is my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields. If you guys enjoyed today's show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing. Before we go, I do want to give a very special shout out to our sponsor, Mining Disrupt. Guys, it's going to be the largest Bitcoin mining conference in Texas this year. You're not going to want to miss it. It's November 11th through the 13th. It's a Bitcoin mining, AI, and energy expo. It's in Irving, Dallas, Texas. You're not going to want to miss it. Hashtag Opti's going back to Texas. The whole Simply Bitcoin crew is going to be there. Opti, Nico, Rustin, It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fabulous. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll see you guys in Dallas, Texas. Scan the QR code to get yourself some tickets, or check the link in the video/podcast description. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you. We wouldn't be here without you. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a brand new episode of SB Live.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.